It's about entitlement. Entitlement. People who are entitled. We all have rights. We're all, I mean, we live in our societies where our rights are protected by laws, and be able to walk clearly and cleanly from one end of the block to the next to get something. You are entitled to a certain level of peace and dignity, and a nice experience with wherever you are, whatever you're doing in your life, right? And then along comes some people. Example, you walk into, which is your rights to be safe, and you are entitled to common decency. But you walk into a place and you stand in line like everyone else, and someone else walks in and they decide that they're more important and they have the right to change the dynamics of what is called common decency. So therefore, they walk up to the front of the line, or they will say something like, "Excuse me, I have blah, blah, blah," and they come up with a reason. "Can I get ahead of you? I see there's a whole group of yous. May I get ahead of you because I only have one quick order and I have to get back to where I need to go to." Now, in the land of common decency, determined case by case, people in general will usually say, yeah, because their lives, their existence has a certain level of importance, real importance. They could actually be doing something very constructive in their life. Whereas a person who comes in, and I can guarantee you this, wherever they're coming from and whatever they're doing, they've probably left a whole charade, a whole day, a whole hour, a whole minute of a lot of negative vibes wherever they were. They may have left someone feeling really crappy after they walked away, because that's how they live. They live carrying their diapers, still wearing it, still smelling badly, and hoping that people don't notice. The entitled person come from many different areas of walks of life. One of the worst kinds are the ones who are taught to be that way from their family. They grew up that way. And it's hard to untrain these kinds of people. um, other people grew up and they made a vow, an inner vow, that nobody is going to get ahead of them and it's time for them to get the best. And everyone else is less, right? Other people, hey, they may have had poverty in their life, and they got a chance to actually get in like everyone else, where life is brimming for them. Now, you think instead of kind of learn to be a little more grateful and a little more understanding, and kind of like, how can I put it, remembering where they came from, and to be a little bit more, shine some brightness along the way as they've made it now, they instead said, no one's going to take this away from me. So there's all these different levels of entitlement that makes these kinds of people very nasty to what we call the dynamics of common decency. The only way out for these people, and a lot of times, well, I'll just say a lot of times, common decency usually lets them, give them a pass, because people don't want to be bothered with them. Correction is not really was not the plan within a person's day, where they're kind of going about their real, the importance of their life is so real that they don't have time to play the childish games with the ones who feel they're entitled to something that they really aren't. One really important point to know about entitlement, whether you find them on the highways, you find them wherever you are, is that they are basically having one language in their life, and that is get out of the way. They would rather you not be in their way. Everyone in so many different ways fight for it because our society in general is taught, and it's becoming more and more of a realistic value in life to see it. It's shocking. The more people are becoming more entitled because and I think entitled people comes from a beggarly place because only beggars push their way. Beggars have to be very aggressive because that's the only way they know to get out of their beggarly place. When they beg you, when they demand from you, when they demand through the means of entitlement what they think they actually deserve, okay, they're basically telling you that they are poor in their behavior. The only way you will actually find your way away from and to deal with them is that there's got to be more of a structured awareness within our societies to be able to deal with entitled peoples. When they come from different cultures and whatever has not worked for them within their societies, they are not entitled to something better unless they have willing to become rehabilitated. That's why jails are filled with so many entitled people who thought they're entitled to take other people's lives, their monies, what was not rightfully theirs. This whole gambit of reasons behind why people are behind bars, but a lot of it has to do with entitlement. We can't beat entitlement. We can form an army to stop him, calling them out, preventing what we have been given. And see, societies and civilizations didn't just come about because of just any real reason, came about because of civility. Civility works in a very big way. It works in families, it works in societies, it works in a workplace, wherever it is, it works on the street, wherever. When it's being invaded, trampled upon, it will not work anymore. So will not people work together. We are in a crucible of humanity right now. And the testings, Jesus put it this way: the wickedness shall abound, and the love of many shall grow cold. But the one who endures to the end shall be saved. It's going to be an utmost importance to hang on to all levels of civility and to stand against it. Nations, when they finally woke up and realized, when they thought that the madness of one man that was able to invade an entire nation with his madness finally got over to their land and their shores, their seashores, with invasion on his mind, then and only then were they willing to take on the war. Casualties, casualties never would have came about to the level it did in World War II and ever, or even of one, if people were not becoming more aware that there is a threat. And right now, that threat is not only with just one madman, it's with wickedness abounding in a huge way. I'm all for nations that knew civilized ways to fight and to fight their hardest for the invasion that's taken place against civility, manners, the ways of God, and the goodness of the mercy of the Most High. Because mercy is being removed from this planet, and God is also removing his mercies because judgments are on its way, because wickedness has abounded. You all have a good day and do like and subscribe. And I'll just say this: entitlement, it will never win. And the ones who are thinking they're entitled usually end up losing in the end, and they lose big. If anything, history has taught us about Hitler, you ought to go look at what happened after Hitler to Germany, Very sad. It's not just entitlement that suffers and the people who carry it, it's the people around them who enable them to be entitled. Have a good day.